Right. Okay, so today we'll just look at what are the basics of computer security, right? When we say information security, it includes not only systems but also techniques, right? And information security in general has a lot of mathematical flavor because it focuses on methods and techniques. However, in this course, we will also focus on system because we have done two courses, on systems like architecture as well as OS, and maybe many more. Okay, so our focus will be on system side. Okay, some techniques of course, encryption and uh, in hashing, etc. we'll learn. All right, so these are the references. Okay, so this is one thing, this is becoming very important, that we need to learn uh, not in the traditional way of classroom teaching like it's being done earlier, but through online, right? And there are thousands of online courses. Okay, so apart from that, when we are having online session, I think it would be great if you remain focused in the class, right? Because it's very simple to get distracted away. Okay, so please continue to remain focused such that you can learn, from any class that is being taught to you nowadays. All right, so these are the two things, very simple things that we'll discuss, and these are just concepts. And first is, what is a secure system? And then second point is, why is it very difficult to create a fully secure system? You can think even of a house that you are building. Okay, how to make it secure, and then you will have to think why it is difficult to make it secure. Okay, all right. So before that, a small quiz. Okay, so each of these organizations have suffered data breaches, right? Actually, most of the organizations that exist today have faced these data breaches in some way or other. Okay, for example, I get a lot of random calls, uh, about different things. For example, day before yesterday, I got a call that my PF money is left out, provident fund money, which I, money you put into a provident fund account when you get a salary. Some money is left out. Yes, there is some money left out. Okay, but then the person says that we will make it clear. I will get the money. It means that I will get the money, and then, but I have to. Then I say, who are you? He said, you just need to give your bank details, etc. Will. So I said, government never does all this, right? They don't approach a person like me. Okay, so it is, of course, it's a it's a cyber criminal. Now the question is, how do they know about it, that I have some money left and exact amount and my name and phone number? Okay, it's only possible that the whole data has been breached out sometime or other, in some way or other. Maybe internal employee has leaked that information. Okay, so but data is available. So a lot of things don't come to public, but very often data breaches happen. Okay, so your data, I am sure, is available in darknet. If not yours, I am sure yours. Cyber criminals may not find you right now very useful. You may not have too much money in your bank account, or credit card limits may be very limited. But of course, your parents' data is surely available in darknet. Okay, darknet is a net of cyber criminals, right? You can also search about darknet and find out, and try. You can buy, say, random 10,000 or 50,000 names of various people, their bank details and so on. It's all available. Okay, the credit card numbers and then CVV number, all these are available. So now question to you is that some of these organizations you would have used, right? Like Quora or Facebook. I'm sure all of you must have Facebook page. eBay, some of you might have used. Apple, JP Morgan Chase is not really India centric, but it's a big financial corporate or institution in US. Snapchat is becoming popular. Some of you may have Snapchat account and use it. Google Plus, many of you would have used. Target is a big superstore in US, not really relevant to us here in India. Twitter, many of us are using it. UPS, Mozilla browser, most of us are using. And of course, one Indian name I have included, Big Basket. During COVID time, many of us have used Big Basket, right? And they all had data breaches. Now let's assume that you have patronized at least some of this, like either Big Basket, Twitter, or maybe Facebook. What you have done? What action you have taken? There's a question. It's like this, that you know that you have a house, independent house, and its keys are lost. Keys are available with thieves. Somehow they could make duplicate keys. Okay, for example, you take possession of a flat, and flat was unsold for a long time, and the keys were with security guards and so on and so forth. Okay, so what you'll do? What is the first thing that you'll do? Anyone? Hello.
Change the keys.
Not the change the key, change the lock.
Lock and key. Lock and
Yeah, right, very right. So what do you do? What action have you taken? The Facebook, there have been data breaches, and it's continuously these breaches are happening sometime or other. Not only in this, but other things like your Google, for example, or maybe some other online sources you use, or maybe if you have HDFC bank account, or maybe some other bank account. What action do you take? That's my question, right? Because we know that your user ID password in some form or other are available. Okay, what do? Do you change
change the password and log out from all devices.
Yes. So how often you have done changing password, right? Most of the people, despite knowing that user ID and passwords are available, don't change the password. Okay, first thing, people do not come to know that there have been data breaches. If you come to know, then majority of us don't change it because we are lazy. Okay, do we change the security related questions? For example, in a bank, you have, sometimes they additionally ask some security related question. What is your, which you have said, for example, your pet dog's name and which city you are born, which city your father was born, and so on and so forth, right? Okay, so we normally don't do that, and also not many of us try to change the user ID, which we can do, and it's a very powerful way. No system, most of the system allow you to change the user ID. Now user ID is changed, and it will take some time for cyber criminals to get that data, right? So we are just we have to find out smart ways of protecting ourselves. Okay, so how do we develop, how do we understand the risk of online information in system? What are the risks to us? Okay, for example, we have, at least I have 40-50 accounts in different accounts, 4-5 banks I have accounts, and then I have a true trading accounts where I do share trading, and then a lot of other accounts, right? I mean, part of groups and so on and so forth, right? About 40-50 places I have my user ID and passwords. Okay, so how do we protect ourselves, right? That question we have to ask. And for that, what is really important is that we need to develop a security mindset. And we discussed this in last class as well, right? Security mindset is something that you'll have to start thinking like a thief. Okay, say for example, when you go to superstore to buy something, just think how you can steal something without nobody noticing, with kind of 100% surety that nobody will notice it. Okay, when you go to airport, just see, think that how can you reduce your time in the line, for example, by not normal way, but some other way. Or for example, how do you skip security? Okay, of course these are all very difficult things to do, but many people do it. Okay, how do you, simpler thing is that how do you get into lounge? Lounges are nice places, right? In airport, lounges are places where you can, you can relax, you can eat, drink, whatever, and you may not have access to luxury lounges. Most of us don't have, and airports, many airports have luxury lounges, right? Where even they serve alcohol and so on and so forth for free, and you may want to go there, right? Now this is a very, this is a, many people do that. Can you think how can you do that? You'll have to see what do they need. They need a ticket, right? Okay, and I card. Can somebody fake both? Yes, people have been doing. There is a whole. If you search for that, you will get enough data. Okay, so you'll have to start thinking like a thief to become a security expert. Okay, of course, don't do all bad actions, but in limited way with the knowledge of somebody, you can do that. For example, many corporates in many big corporates hire these security mindset people or these experts to and challenge them to get into their actually server room. Okay, and then these experts, many of them, most of them have been successful getting into server room. Okay, and just usually finding out what are the security holes, and then for example, every office has some people who smoke. Okay, and there is a loyalty between these smokers, right? Okay, so if they're a small company, of course smokers know each other. If a big company, a very big company, then there is a lobby of smokers, and usually they don't come out from the main door, and there is usually some doors, back doors, from where they go out and smoke. Okay, even if from main door they will have to come out and smoke, right? So somebody has done this trick that they have used, company given t-shirt, which you can always get it from the vendor who has supplied to company, or ask somebody to give you as a gift. Okay, wear that t-shirt, smoke along with them. Okay, and then just follow them, and then don't, and you may have similar looking identity card, okay, which can be easily faked. And of course, if you cannot swipe this out because you'll be caught, you just tailgate. Tailgate is that when door is open by somebody standing in front of you, walking in front of you, just go on, right? Tailgating is very common. So once you are in office, then you'll find out, when that guy is entering, system admin guys, and you can also enter. So there are multiple ways of you know fooling a system or cheating a system, but you'll have to think in that way. Now company knows this is how somebody can enter, then they can find out ways to protect themselves. Okay, all right. So this is what we call it security mindset. You'll have to develop this security mindset, okay, which is understanding of threat, vulnerabilities, and attacks. Okay, all right. So for example, I may think that it's very easy for you to break into my system and change your grade, or much easier is that break into, what do you call that, the system that we have where we submit grade. Okay, hack that and change your grade. I will even not come to know, because grades are sent to you automatically. Okay, once I know as an admin guy that you can do this, I will try to protect. Okay, so this is the way one has to think about breaking a system to protect oneself. And when you're building a house, you'll have to think what needs to be done. Think of it as a thief, or maybe consult a thief, or just do some googling about thieves, how, what method you do, and then create your own system. All right. So now these are terminologies. We have cyber criminals, and then they want to profit from our sensitive data. Yeah, ultimately in systems, right, we have the zeros and ones. Any system will have zeros and ones. They may represent different things. Okay, and then cyber criminals are interested in those zeros and ones where they can benefit financially. Okay, like your user ID, password, or whatever, your bank account number, your credit card number, your CVV number, and driving license number, your Aadhaar card number, and so on. All these are zeros and ones, or digital data that they can benefit from. Another set of people are like the activists. So these are activists are not normally interested in financial gains, but they want to do something, which they don't, which opposes your actions. So maybe you have a particular political view, okay, and you have a website, and these guys think that is something wrong about it, about you, so they may hack your website and do something. So these are usually not criminals, but they may trouble you for their own interests, right? And of course there are nation states, right? Because as we discussed in last class, that war, actual physical war, is very expensive process. Even just one plane costs billions of dollars. One fighter plane costs, I don't know, maybe 100 billion or something, like 10 billion, or maybe 400, maybe close to a billion. Okay, so it's very expensive thing, right? So it's very simple to do cyber attacks, and that's the reason every government has a huge team of kind of cyber soldiers. And Israel is the one which started this. Very powerful, very powerful organization. So now it's very simple to destroy a country by doing cyber attacks. I mean, taking away, taking their resources, digital resources. Okay, so, and we know some countries like that, where it is done in open way, right? And that's a source of earning for the country. Like there are North Korea, for example, is involved in this one, right? And maybe some people say Russian government is also involved. Chinese, of course, people do talk about, and so on, right? And then when countries become weaker and more disorganized, the chances of they using all these methods is much higher. For example, Pakistan is in the state of almost in becoming bankrupt. There's no doubt that there will be more cyber hackers out there. Okay, any question? All right, so let's move ahead. All simple things so far, right? Okay, I'm just skipping these are definitions. Okay, and when we do anything, we'll have to think about what is a proper mechanism of protecting oneself. Okay, a cyber criminal will not come with normal tools that petty thieves will use. So your protection methods have also got to be different, right? Okay, there's no point having this kind of protection mechanism to protect your cycle. A cycle asset, then you don't need all this, right? So if you have changed your cycle like this and gone to a restaurant, then there is a, and you think that nobody will take it away, is wrong, right? So few hours later you'll find that somebody has stolen it. Okay, so proper protection method is very important, and you'll have to again think like a thief, right? All right, can we apply this method? What kind of what experience do anyone had in the past? Did you have any experience where you were duped? I have been duped many times.
There was one Domino's data breach in which all credit card information were leaked of many users in India and around the world.
Yeah, that's right. So now learning from that could be what? If you have used Domino's and they have your credit card information, okay, CVV number you cannot change. If your credit card number has come to and data has come to any of these breaches, then of course simplest possible way is to change the credit card, which I do very often. Okay, because credit card information is available everywhere. I mean, for example, even you have given your card in a restaurant and the person has taken the card, it takes just few minutes to copy it, few seconds rather, to copy the complete credit card information, right? All right, so what is okay, this is a quiz again. Now your, it's very certain that your user ID, password, email address, your Aadhaar card number, your passport information is all available in the black net or black market, okay, or dark net. It's available, it's certain. Okay, now it may, you are a student right now, so it may not worth too much for cyber criminals, but it's available. Okay, and think of a you becoming vice president of India, sorry, vice president of a company, okay, or president of a company, then the value of this information, your credit card number, your user ID, password, becomes too much, very high, right? So in general, we can say if you search the dark net and find out for a common person what is, how much money these criminals are ready to give you for each of these, like 3-digit CVV number, credit card information, passport information, health information. Any guess? CVV of your credit card? You know, in the back of your debit card or credit card, there three-digit CVV number, right? That you, when you do online transaction, then along with your credit card number, you'll have to give this, and then of course sometimes you get OTP, at least in Indian systems. Okay, so there is some cost. Similarly, your credit card number alone can fetch some money to cyber criminals. So passport information, you know, it's very expensive. Because once all details are available, then it can be faked. So make sure when you give your passport as an identity thing, you better don't well, just give limited information or don't give, it's not really necessary. Okay, so I just want to tell you these are number I found from this not March 2015, is January 2022. Okay, your 3-digit CVV number can fetch, depending on who you are, between $5 to $50. Your credit card information, credit card number, and few other details, name, credit card information, CVV, etc., $10 to $100. Okay, your passport information can go for $1,000 to $2,000. Why? Yeah, because it can be faked. A lot of things in passport, for example, even your visa can also be faked. And there are not many checks available on the airport, right? For example, no one takes your fingerprints in the airport, right? To verify you are you. It's your face, they don't do face scan or any biometric check. At least not started in India and most other countries. So all your passport data can easily be faked. Okay, and can be used by cyber criminals. And so is the health information, very important, because these pharma companies and many other companies can use it. Okay, all right. So the question is then, how do we say that what is a secure system? What can be 100% secure system? A 100% secure system is one that is switched off, no power to that. When we say system is a computer system, is sealed in a room with armed guards. That's it. Otherwise, all systems are vulnerable to some degree or other. Okay. So which of the following is true? Anything connected to internet can be hacked. Is it true or false? Yeah,
True.
it is true. Okay, anything that's connected to internet will have digital thing, whether it's a car or whatever. And then there are ways to hack it. Okay, everything is being connected to internet. This is also true because of digitization, even lathe machines or motor cars or scooters or light bulbs or toasters or refrigerator, all will have digital controllers or microprocessors, sensors, actuators, right? Which microprocessor will control, because we want comfort and easy controllability. And then of course internet is becoming omnipresent, so these are connected to internet. So all these things, everything that we use is going to be connected to internet. So does it mean that everything is becoming vulnerable? This is also true. And then can we say that there is no 100% safe? I will add here digital system. This is also true. Now I am thinking like a cyber criminal. Okay, it means that you can hack into anything, and there have been examples of that. There are methods. Even if there is internet, you can do social engineering to get into the system or some way or other. Okay, you can get into any system you want. Of course, it's a question of how much time and energy and money you as a cyber criminal want to spend on that, and whether it is worth it or not. That's the question. Similarly, security guys, if you're developing something, you'll have to think of how much secure you want to make it and what is the cost. Okay, if you have a hostel room, okay, and you don't have anything, not even laptop in there, maybe just basic basic stuff, few books, etc., and maybe bed and some blank sheets, bed sheets, etc. What kind of log you are going to put in there? Are you going to spend 10,000 rupees on a log? Surely not. You will buy a log of say maybe 50, maybe 100 or 200, because you know that it's not worth putting 10,000 rupees log, where something that is inside maybe just costing 1,000 rupees. Okay, this is an example. So similarly, when we develop a system, we'll have to think how much to invest in a security. Okay, and second question is that, are the users of that we are developing willing to pay for security? Okay, very often you'll find that users are not willing to pay. There's a reason most of things are insecure. Okay, the question is then, what makes security challenging? Few things we have already discussed, right? That making anything secure requires cost, extra effort, right? Okay, so there is an overhead that comes with cost. So cost of anything that we are developing goes up. And then second most important thing is that time to develop also goes up. Time to market, right? Time to develop a computer, because security is not simply plug-in thing, right? Just system is developed and put a small piece of software and things become, the whole system becomes more secure. That's not the way, right? So develop right from start something which is secure. So it takes time and money. So overall time to develop is gone up. Okay, security is challenging because so we can develop secure system kind of in our understanding, but something that connects to them, that is our great internet, is by nature insecure. It does not provide any security. Basic internet. Okay, so internet is a great mechanism, right? I mean, it interconnects layer 2 networks. Okay, it touches almost, it can work on any device. Beautiful, right? It can work from few bytes to few terabytes. Beautiful. It can work when interconnect network or internet networks in between is broken, then packets can be rerouted. Because it's kind of, if you have studied IS and BGP, etc., you will understand it, right? So it's just lovely system. It works under most of the adverse conditions, and that's the beauty. And that beauty is also because it's very simple. It just routing of IP packet and IP address are defined, but it does not do anything for security. And all these strengths are coming because of that flexibility. So, but it's not secure. You can fake IP packet. You can, you can do hundreds of things. Okay, so it's not at all secure, and it's just like a flat pipe. Is a pipe. Whatever you put in one side comes out of the other side. All right. Uh, all right. So this makes also security difficult. Third important point is asymmetricity or asymmetric. Okay, I will just, when we say asymmetric, is it easy to defend something or is it easy to attack something? Who is at advantage most of the time, attacker or defender? Defender of an asset. Any question? Anyone can answer this?
Attackers, I guess.
Yes, attackers have always advantage. Cost of attacking is much lower than cost of defending, because this is called attacker's advantage. Okay, the attacker has choice where to attack. Okay, while defender must defend everywhere. Okay, defenses are usually public, so anyone can see what we are defending to, right? And attackers generally do things in private. Attackers are nimble, very fast, and defenders are sunk cost. It's basically you don't get any great advantage of investing money in security. Now let's take example. You have campus, IIT Goa campus, or okay, and any campus will have a boundary. Okay, and the challenge the director has that it should not have any intruders from outside. What can he or any admin guy do about it? Of course, it has got to have some entry and exit points. BAS is just a one entry exit point, right? For entry and exit from same place. So it means it has got to have one gate. Right? But how now thief or intruder has a, you know, intruder can actually get inside from any place, not necessarily from main gate. Okay, even if the main gate security guard is checking the I cards, the guy can, the intruder can always fake it. Okay, they can buy a t-shirt of IIT and then get into not only your class but anywhere. Apart from that, they can just jump the wall. Okay, all right. So nobody can protect the whole boundary. Okay, so attacker has a huge attack surface. The technical word that we are using here is attack surface. Think of a software system like your mobile phone, for example. It has 30 to 40 million lines of code, right? Even more than that. How can they protect it? There may be 1,000, 2,000 plus APIs. Many APIs would have been developed 10 years back, and there may be many backdoors, etc., etc. Right? Now, attackers can try to find out where to attack, and usually they attack at the weakest point. But defenders cannot do. Every time when new release is developed every few months, all 40 million lines of code cannot be tested. Is certain. Okay, so the cost of defending here becomes too much, where cost of attacking is much simpler. Okay, so this is called attacker's asymmetric advantage, right? So for example, the challenge, someone wants to protect, what do you call that, a palace or something like that, right? So this kind of water bodies are created. I mean, you can see this in many places in India, right? Even in Rajasthan, for example, you will find this, right? So now where can this guy have protection, right? Only at the where some place like here it can put security guards and so on and so forth, right? Or soldiers, where a thief can enter from anywhere, right? So there's a, so who is at advantage? Is always attacker is at advantage than defender. All right. So attacker only needs to win in one place, while defender has to defend it. While defender can defend only at certain places, not at all places. Similarly, in software or system, it can be attacked from many places, but normally security is provided only at certain places. So now, of course, these points we have already discussed. What makes security challenging? So first thing is that most software are very poorly written. Okay, and when you join industry, you will realize this. You will find your peer fellow developers who do not know even basics of coding. Okay, for example, what is a pointer, etc., etc., and then still they are doing coding if they're using C language, of course. Okay, plenty of them you will find in industry. Okay, it means that without adequate experience and knowledge, people develop things. That's the fact. Second thing is that the size of the software has become so much that it's always in increments systems are developed. Okay, uh, so basically one can do testing of some increments that is done, not the complete testing. And there are millions of ways this small piece of software that is added can interact with the existing system, right? While only testing is limited one. Okay, so because of these complexity in software and is being developed by thousands of developers over time using thousands of different tools and mechanisms and so on, every system has huge number of bugs. It's impossible to take out all the bugs. That's the reason 50% money in most of the companies goes in testing. Okay, and then they don't do full testing, and as a result of that, these bugs remain or gets introduced in system very often, and this bug remains for very long time, maybe 10 years, 15 years. Okay, and as a result of that, you know it's simple for attackers to attack. For example, you can find out what are the vulnerabilities in, if for example, in browser or an operating system, and these are all published. Does it mean that everyone and new patches are available for that? Okay, it means that you put a patch, then system works. Then does it mean that every organization that is using that software has applied patch? Of course not. Okay, same thing applies to you. How many of you have updated your OS? How frequently you have done that? Bigger question is that how many of you have legal copy of software? If there is no legal copy, you cannot update it most likely. Okay, and if it is a legal copy, then it may come with all embedded malwares, right? Well, nobody gives software for free. All right, so these are the problem. Security of a software becomes very challenging. Okay, and of course, this point we have discussed that companies often don't find benefits of security. If, say, for example, a handset manufacturer asks you for another, say, 5,000 rupees to give you totally secure system, would you pay? The cost of handset is 15,000. Would you pay even one third of that for security? You will say no. Okay, because and while company may say that it has 10 extra features, and they may ask you for 5,000 rupees, or its look is beautiful and so on, then we may pay, right? So it means that consumers yet have not realized that security is equally important. It does not come for free. Okay, any question? Okay, so next is same thing, is that why is it difficult to develop fully secure system? We have already answered these questions. Internet is absolutely insecure pipe. Basically, when the connection mechanism itself is not very secure, it has a lot of leaks, and anybody can insert whatever it wants to, then it's not very secure, right? Nobody stops you from sending a mail to Joe Biden. You can send it to our prime minister also, right? Nobody stops you. Okay, now that's very simple flaw. Why should I receive something from people I am not interested in receiving? My email box, if thousands of people start sending me email, is and then one important email comes to me in between about my some financial transaction I'm doing, and I want to read that to do transaction, it's all lost. If I have 1 million emails available on my mailbox, it's all lost. My important message is lost. So there's one way of you know creating a threat to me, but you are free to do that. You can send as many emails as you want. This is a basic flaw. So anybody can create IP packet with any source address and send it to anyone one wants. The biggest flaw that we have, right? We'll discuss this later. Extensibility of computers, we cannot say a computer is developed forever. One computer that we buy with some software and say that's it, is totally secure. Every day computer software keeps changing, we keeps updating, it keeps getting new software keeps also changes, right? Versions changes and so on. So computer is not a fixed thing, a system is not fixing, it's always getting extended. When something is getting extended, it creates security holes. And then complexity is enemy of security, right? The more complex it is, less people can understand it. Okay, it's simple. I had experience of that, right? I mean, there was a bug in a protocol that some guys in our company developed. It was on layer 2. Okay, and then after bug fixes, customer says that number of defects have gone up and more serious defects have been introduced. And just when we find it out, then the person who has bug fixed has very little understanding of this complex protocol. He had some understanding, but it turns out that he didn't understand the context of that or interaction of that with respect to the whole system. So the guy has fixed few things in his limited understanding in a protocol about, but that has created more bugs. So because the whole thing is very complex, right? When things are complex, then people tend to make mistakes. And this point is also important, increasing number of interconnections. Okay, why is it important? Okay, so it's simple. If there are two connections, right? So then there is only limited way, interaction can happen. If there are more interactions or interconnections, then this guy can get messages or interaction with 3. Okay, something like this, and their interactions keep on increasing. Okay, number of ways you can connect it. Okay, then the power of the system goes up. That's the power of internet. Power of internet is because it's a connectivity, it connects to everything that's digital, and that is also cause of the threat. Increasing the number of interconnections, more ways it can be attacked. Okay, and then easy availability of hacking tools and software. Okay, all right. Now all these points we have discussed by now. Please go through it. We have discussed why internet is insecure. Okay, please go through the examples here. For example, anybody can send an email, fake email. Anybody can send IP packet. No security and domain name servers, or there are known vulnerabilities in www. And then extensively of computers, then computers can be extended. More complex it is, more it is difficult to enhance, develop, and debug or even test. Okay, so good chances of bugs remaining in the system or bugs being introduced. Defender's job is complex and attacker's job is simple. This point we have discussed. Okay, more interconnections bring more vulnerability. Of course, we know that more interconnections means more ways or more bad actors can attack us. Okay. And what's important is that availability of hacking tools and software. Now, you and me know what is internet. Okay, what are different tools and what is architecture, what is single core, multi-core, what is OS and how OS works, kernel mode, user mode, all that we know. While the hackers, I mean, the 18-year-old boy has hacked into Tesla car. It's amazing, right? that guy, that child may not know what is how internet works. Then how is it possible for the 18-year-old boy to hack into Tesla cars? And that's developed, the systems are developed by experts. Okay, it's just because availability of tools, hacking tools. If you go to darknet, you can hire those tools. Many of these you can download. Okay, because then without knowing the technical subject in depth, still you can be a very effective hacker. Okay, all right. Okay, so this all for today. Any question? Oh, availability of tools. Any question? So now start developing a hackers or thieves mindset. If you want to become a security expert, you start thinking that how can you, for example, just start thinking that how OS actually protects and how can you break OS. If you go to OS course concepts, then see if you can get an external entity get into kernel mode, then you have control over everything. You can change everything that you want. But from external entity, even if you, for example, there are thousands of executables available on your hard disk, and one of those executable could be virus, then who is going to actually, when you run something, only then it's something gets triggered. Okay, so for example, we are in Microsoft Word, start that exe file that's available comes to main memory, and then you will have a stack, heap, and so on. You have memory image of that. So somebody has to actually activate that, use that, right? Who's going to use the virus? The code is available that you have created a virus code, but somebody has to use that, right? Somebody has to activate it. Somebody has to double click on that or whatever. So think about it, and then we'll continue in the next class. Okay. All right. Thank you.